Call the dogs in because you're listening to the Fieldmaster Podcast. All right, everyone. Welcome back to episode number 8 of the Fieldmaster Podcast, brought to you by Sportsman's Pride Professional Dog Food. I'm joined by Ryan and Sam.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
We've got a great guest this month. We are super excited. We stayed up late to do this podcast. Usually we record in the morning, sometimes around 9 a.m. and this guest said, "Hey, I'm on my way."
Yeah,
And
Fieldmaster After Dark.
Yep, that's it. We said, you know what? We'll stay up for you past our bedtime. Well, we should probably get to introducing him. We've got none other than Brandon Thompson from. He's a Sportsman's Pride ambassador. He's also a member of the ever so fast growing 24/7 Hunt, and he's also the owner of Eazy Livin Studios down in Port Orange, Florida. Brandon, how's it going?
It's going great. How you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
great.
Great.
It's great to be here.
We are incredibly excited. When I first started with Sportsman's Pride, I run our social media and everything like that, and Ryan tasked me with, hey, we need to get some ambassadors. We need to get some people who are advocating for our food and who are big in the hunting community and things like that. And so I started doing my research, found a bunch of people, and I saw you. And what stood out from others is you put such a great spin on the content that you put out. A lot of people will just post like, their truck beds full of ducks or something like that. But you were so educational in your content that I was like, this guy's great. I got to talk to him. And ever since then, we've been trying to connect. I think this was maybe October?
Yeah,
early October, I think it was.
Yep.
And so I was like, Ryan, we got to get this guy here.
and
we got to go see him.
The stuff was crisp. It was colorful. It was just really well done. It was pro level images up there. And then when he started showing me what kind of educational stuff was on each one of those, I was like, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's something that, obviously, and we'll talk about this later in the episode, but it's something that you don't see a lot of anymore, especially in social media. Everyone wants to kind of post like their best or, their biggest accomplishment. And one of the things that I really appreciated about you was you posted things with Odie, and we'll talk about Odie in a second as well, but you're like, hey, this is what I did wrong with Odie today. And you talk about kind of like the experience of how that went and how you can learn from it next time. And that's something I truly appreciated because you just don't see that anymore. And it was really authentic. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about kind of your background, though, because you have kind of the same story as me. Grew up in Florida.
Right.
I think we have salt water running through our veins.
Florida boy, man.
It's, what? I'm surprised they let us two in the same room together.
Crazy Florida man. I'm trying to tell you.
It's usually Florida man, not Florida men.
Right.
You know
in those
what?
headlines.
I know. It's, you know what?
We're
Something
in for
crazy might happen in this episode.
You never know.
The two of us in the same room together. I mean,
It's so ominous the way you said.
Yeah.
You never know.
You
never know.
You know what I'm saying?
we talked before the episode. Just be prepared.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So one of the things is, obviously you and I were talking over dinner is, we grew up fishing. We grew up, really in the outdoors and stuff. But I want to know, was there something specific about your story getting into the outdoors that, really occurred where you were like, I want to go head first into this?
To be honest, what got me going head first was the fact that I didn't have nobody to hunt with. It was just me. So I was like, you know what? I got to do something different than what I'm doing. It was 2017. I've only been hunting since 2017.
Right.
I picked up a bow. I got my first buck and first doe in the same year. I got a 7-point out of my uncle's private property. So it was a great accomplishment, but doing and coming from some of the things that I was doing before, which weren't good, I was like, man, I got to do something positive with my life. I always wanted to hunt. Fishing, just like you said, in Florida, anybody, you can go to a pier, take you a fishing rod, you got a leader, hook, go grab you a bag of shrimp, drop straight down. You'll catch something.
Yeah.
Within seconds.
Boom.
Oftentimes, yeah.
I mean, it might be a catfish bottom feeder. It might be a pinfish, which is great bait fish. It might be a mangrove. You never know, which is another great thing about saltwater fishing. You just never know what you're going to get. I don't care if you got a live mullet on. I don't care if you got a fiddler crab. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Whatever type of bait you're going to go out there and fish with, you can catch something. But needless to say, anybody can fish in Florida. But the hunting world is a very small world. A lot of people don't understand. It's very, I won't say closed in, but if you don't have private property, if you don't know anything about public land hunting, you're kind of in the dark as far as where to go, what do I do, what are the rules, who hunts here, who do I need to contact, just the whole 9 yards. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So hunting can be it can be a very intimidating sport to get into if you don't have anybody. But I'm the type of guy, I take intimidation on, like, hey, man, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So for years and years, I grew up in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, shark bite capital of the world. It's a beach town. It's either beach or country. There's no in between.
Yeah, and usually in towns like that in Florida, you know the road where it changes.
You know exactly where it changes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So growing up in New Smyrna my whole life, I seen a lot of guys surf. That's a lot of professional surfers from my town. Jeremy Johnston is one of them.
Yep.
It's a really big, matter of fact, it's a USA competition going on right now at the surf, or at the inlet where I fish at a lot.
Yeah.
But anybody can fish, but it's two different lines. You got the beach and you got the country. So in high school, that's exactly what it was. If you wasn't playing sports, you was in the woods. If you wasn't in the woods, you was on the beach somewhere hanging out.
Yep.
I was just so happened to be the type of guy that was very versatile. So I had friends all over. I had friends that was beach bums and surfers. I had friends that was country bumpkins and rednecks. I had friends that was from the West Side community just like me. So it was never an issue for me to go mix and mingle with anybody. So within all of that time, it was always an itch for me to hunt. Always. So I didn't have I don't want to say a father figure. My dad is in my life. He was in my life my whole life. He wasn't physically there all the time, but he was there.
Right.
When I say I should say a mentor.
Yeah, like a role model.
I didn't have a role model
Right.
to look at, be like, oh man, this guy hunts, that guy hunts. Of course, in the black community, I won't say it's not broadcasted like that as far as outdoorsmen, right? So it was very scarce for me to go and find somebody to hunt with. Not saying that I didn't want to go hunt with somebody of the opposite race, but to see somebody that looked like me, it's just more. It's more comfortable. It's representation.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can learn anything from anybody.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, you know what? Let me see if my buddy Howard would teach me.
Yep.
So I was 23, was going through a really rough patch in life. I actually, before I became a barber, I was an HVAC technician. Did that for 5 years. And I was living in Ocala, Florida. I stayed right next to a livestock pavilion. So a lot of people don't know. I'm like diehard cowboy. Like I love horses. I'm in love with horses. Like I love horses and I love taking care of horses. I'm talking about cleaning stalls, brushing them down, turning them out.
Yeah.
I used to work on a rescue for 3.5 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And if you are, Ocala is the place where you want to be
yeah,
because that's the horse capital of the world.
Horse
right
capital
there.
of the world.
Oh.
So
I didn't know that.
when I was there, I didn't work at the rescue in Ocala. I was just doing strictly AC work. But I was sitting outside of my apartment and I was like, man, I gotta make a change. I don't want to do AC work for the rest of my life. It's 98 degrees outside. I'm going into attics. It's 12 o'clock. It's 140. I can't take this no more.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I gotta go back to my childhood. I'm a man now. I can pay for all the stuff that I wanted as a child. I can do all the stuff I wanted to as a child. So why don't I go back to that? And I tell a lot of guys, like, you're not happy because you're not doing what you want to do when you was a little boy. If you go back to what you want to do as a little boy, I promise you all your dreams will come true. You got the money, you got the time, you got the space, you got the place. Why don't you go back? Why don't you backtrack?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's really good advice, actually.
So I backtracked and I was like, you know what? I always wanted to be a cowboy. I always wanted to be an outdoorsman. I always wanted to be the best I could be in the outdoors. That's what I'm gonna do. So I had to think of a plan. I always think of a plan. I just don't jump out of anything. It's always, you know, you gotta go forth with something. Just jumping into it blind, it's a 50-50 chance. You know what I'm saying? I want more of a 70-30. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So
You want a little insurance.
right.
Yeah.
So I had my aunt, she called me, and this was out of the blue. Brandon, it's the barbering program over here in New Smyrna. I said, what? She's like, yeah. Why don't you see about signing up? I didn't see about signing up. I literally quit my AC job. I didn't turn in the 2-week notice. I woke up the next morning. I did inventory on my truck. I was living with one of my coworkers at the time because my apartment, some things happened at my apartment. I got out of there.
Right.
Like, I'm not living here. I'm gone. I was fortunate enough to live with one of my coworkers. He was like, "What you doing?" I was like, "Man, I'm going to chase my dreams." So what you mean? I was like, "Bro, I've wanted to be a barber ever since I was a little boy. Going to the barbershop." He said, "Come on now, don't like." I was talking to him. I was like, "Come on, man, like just think about it. When you went to a barbershop as a young boy with your grandpa, your grandma, your mom, your dad, whoever it was that was taking you, and you got in that chair. When you got done, and the barber went in his pocket, he pulled out this fat wad of money just to give you $5 of change back."
Yep.
That always blew my mind. How did this man make all this money? All he did was cut my hair. So, you know, in life, you go through things and you go down different paths, see if this work, it don't work, you get turned around. You go down another path, you might get turned around again, right?
Yep.
I always kept reverting to barbering. I was like, man, my dad would call me, "Why don't you go be a barber?" You always wanted to do that. My mom would call me, "Why don't you go be a barber?" Everybody, "Why don't you go be a barber?" And I'm like, man, you know what? I'm going to be a barber.
Now,
Get what I'm saying?
did you do the thing where you were like, you kind of acted like it was your idea? Because I've done that before with my parents, where they'll tell me something for years, and I'm like, one day I'm just like, I think I'm gonna do this, and they're like, "Oh yeah, of course you are."
To be honest, I did, man. My auntie Katisha, she always knew I was gonna be a barber. When I signed the dotted line for the military at 18, she was like, "I don't know why you're doing that.
You're gonna be a barber.
You're gonna end up cutting hair one day."
Yeah.
funny.
I mean, and everybody in my family was either military, healthcare, or in the beauty industry. So I just so happened to fall in 2 of them. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But ended up, long story short, I did inventory on my truck. I told Mike, I said, "Hey, Mike, chasing my dreams, man." He said, "What?" I said, "Man, I gotta go. This is my opportunity. I feel like this is the time for me to go. I'm going home. I'm going to school. I'm gonna go back to school for barbering. It's 1,200 hours. I don't know what in the world I'm doing right now, but I have to do it."
Yeah.
He said, "You know what, Brandon? I respect the hell out of you for that, because a lot of people don't have the courage to leave something that's they have and it's guaranteed to jump off the cliff and just go do something. You know what? Give me those keys. I'll tell Miss Candy and everybody else, hey, it just didn't work for them." Boom. I was gone that morning. Literally, I went to the school October 21st, 2015. I signed up for school. I had to wait 2 months because it started January 21st of 2016. I remember each date. It's crazy. January 16th, it was 4 or 5 days before school started. They called me and said, "Brandon, you got to pay FAFSA. You owe $900. I'm like devastated. I'm like, what? Where am I going to get this from? I work a restaurant job, just something to get by. I'm living with one of my buddies. Like, I'm kind of down in the dumps.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I'm coming up. You know what I'm saying? This is my little struggle come up time,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't realize when they go through that, but that was that time for me, right?
Yep.
So I was like, man, what am I going to do? My boss at my AC company had sold me a work truck for $500. It was a 2006 Silverado long bed single cab. He sold it to me. I worked for the truck because I didn't have a vehicle over there. right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He sold me the truck. I was like a year into work, and he sold me the truck. All right, Brandon, you got your vehicle. Good. Boom, boom, boom. We ain't got to worry about nothing because I was using the work van. They was letting me use the work van. So I'm back home. I looked outside. I said, boom, you got to go.
Yep.
I put that truck online for $1,500 and sold it 3 hours later.
Wow.
I went straight to the school. I literally got that money cash. I went straight to the school. I paid my $900 and I started January 21st, 2016, and I've never looked back ever since.
That's
then.
awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so cool.
It's almost like a test, like to see if you want your dreams, what are you willing to give up and everything, and you made it happen.
I made it happen. A lot of people, I mean, it's my hometown, so I wasn't, my pride had been out of the roof. You know, when you get out the military and you come home and you got to work at a Taco Bell, which was the #1 Taco Bell in the country because there was so many people coming through.
Yeah.
Like, talk about pride. Throw it out the window. You know what I'm saying? Throw it right out the window.
Yep.
Put it right in one of those bags that you give one of those people at the drive-through, and just let it go. You get what I'm saying? So at that point, 5 years later, I had realized, like, you know what? I don't care, man. People see me. I ride my bike to school. I walk to school. It's my hometown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I need anything, I can walk 2 miles, or I can walk to my grandma's, or anything. My 2 feet, you know, God gave my 2 feet and get me anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So if it came down to it, I can get to school.
Right.
That's all that matters. As long as I can get to school and I can get to work. So I did that. 1,200 hours I had to do. And I mean, I went from day class and then switched to night class because of jobs and all of that type of stuff. But ended up getting through it. And once I got through it, I started work end of 2016 is when I started really cutting hair. Got a job at my shop. Well, not at my shop, but in Daytona, town right up from me. Start cutting up there. It's right down the road from Bethune-Cookman College. It was a great experience. Got a lot of experience with college kids, homeless people. I mean, pretty much every spectrum, you know. So it was a really good start. But barbering was just something I've always wanted to do because, for one, I always knew I couldn't. I won't say this because I'm not gonna put it in the universe. But at one point in time, I couldn't work for nobody. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, man, your attitude is horrible. Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna work for myself.
Yeah.
If I work for myself, the only people I have to worry about are the people that I'm servicing. So if I can keep a smile on their face and I can respect them, then I don't have to worry about the backlash of somebody telling me, hey, Brandon, you can't take off for that week. Hey, Brandon, you don't have no more sick days. Hey, Brandon, you can't do this, or so-and-so told me this, so we're going to send you home for the day. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about those things. But on the flip side, I do have to do my own taxes.
Yeah.
I do have to budget my own money. I do have to, pay, as far as budget my own money. I mean, pay myself on my own check and then put some away and then pay this and pay that. So it's a lot that comes with working for yourself. But I tell people, you might make a certain amount of dollar. You might make a certain dollar amount working for yourself, but the freedom is everything.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I hunt, as 60 days of duck season, I hunted 45 this year. A lot of them was in Florida. The majority of it was in Florida. I mean, I wish I could have traveled more, but being a business, I own my shop.
Right.
I'm the only person that cuts in my shop. I just recently added my aunt in the shop, and then I'll have somebody else probably at the end of this year. But it's really hard to travel when you own a barbershop. That's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
So if I'm not in the shop, I ain't paying the bills.
Yeah, because it's a fine line, right? I mean, it's
a
like
super fine
you
line.
own your own shop, you get your own freedom, and you get to do essentially whatever you want because it's your business. I mean, you get to do anything from X, Y, Z.
You can't leave for too long because people's hair keeps growing.
Exactly.
And you don't want them to go down to supercuts and pass you up that one time.
But that's the thing. I mean, like, if the shop is closed for too long at the same point, like, you've got rent to pay still.
I got to get there, and I have to be there. So it's a point. It's a time where I have to. Okay, well,
it's balancing.
can I go on this trip Is it around this time? Okay, well, is it around Christmas time? Because everybody gonna want to cut the week before Christmas.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Is it around Thanksgiving? Because everybody want to cut before Thanksgiving. Is it around the first of the year? Like, it's certain times that I know I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's seasonal.
But at the same time, guess what's there? The bird.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
oh man. So trust me, this season alone has taught me so much. When I say so much, I'm talking about from Odie to a budget.
Right.
Like literally, that's two different spectrums.
Oh yeah.
I've grown a whole lot, but a lot of people don't know. Like I said, I've only been hunting since 2017.
Yeah.
But this is my 4th year duck hunting.
Right.
I've had Odie 2 years, and I only duck hunted 2 years prior to that. So altogether, it's only been 4 years of me in the waterfowl world. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm ate up, and I love it. So not being able to travel the places that I wanted to this year ate me up so bad, man.
Yeah.
When I say it ate me up, oh man,
Yeah.
it was hard, but it taught me you gotta save.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta put a budget.
Yep.
You gotta finance, because if you don't, you won't be able to go as far west as you want to.
Right.
Yeah.
When your buddies call you and say, "Hey, bro, the birds are here. We leaving in 2 days. What can you do?"
You're like, yeah, man, my clippers are here though. So
Exactly.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
So it taught me a lot, and it made me look into the future more. What do I want to do? Where do I want to hunt? When do I want to hunt?
Yeah.
How long do you want to hunt? Do you want to hunt 60 to 90 days? If you do, you're going to have to sacrifice during the summer and the spring and, late winter when hunt season over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, one of the things that go ahead, Ryan.
No,
you want to say?
that's it.
Well, one of the things that you touched on, which the next point that I'm about to make, it's going to contradict itself a little bit. But you've only been hunting for just a few years.
Right.
I mean, 2017, I think you said.
right.
But you've also come such a long way in such a short amount of time, because I know you've done some work with Fish and Wildlife in Florida
Right.
for some campaigns and things like that. So can you tell me about what was it like going from, you said picked up your first bow and stuff and you just decided, hey, I want to get into hunting, to literally being an advocate for the state of Florida in their Fish and Wildlife department?
First of all, that's a big blessing. I never thought I would be in the position that I am in now, just being very honest.
Right.
For me picking up my first bow, how that goes is my buddy Howard.
Mm-hmm.
I had a litter of puppies. I have a pit bull. She's an American bully. She's a pocket. She's 13 inches tall, very, very small. I bred her a couple different times. She has papers and really good bloodline. So I made some really good money. But I enjoyed having the pups around and everything. So it was something else that I kind of gravitated to. I didn't know that I liked. But my buddy Howard was like, "Hey, man, you want to sell me one of those pups?" I was like, "Yeah." "You want to teach me how to shoot a bow?" And he was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, I'm so serious right now.
Yeah.
He was like, "Okay, if you go get a bow, I'll teach you." And I was like, "Cool. I'll sell you this dog for a little bit of nothing."
Right.
He said, "Okay, cool." Came up with an agreement. I got my what is it? The grant money you get from school, like the Pell money.
Oh, Pell Grant.
I got that money. I went to Buck's gun rack. I put a PSE Stinger on layaway.
Yeah.
Put it on layaway. I was like, "When can I get it?" He's like, "If within 90 days, you good."
Yep.
I came back 2 weeks later and I bought the bow. So I literally went to Howard's house. He lived in Oak Hill. I live in New Smyrna. Oak Hill is about 15 minutes apart. So I drove down there. It's 8:30 at night. Knocked on his door. I was like, "Got this bow. What's up?"
He's like, "Man, it's 8:30 at night. What are you trying to shoot at?"
Exactly. He was like, "What you trying to shoot at?" He was like, "You know what? Let's go across the street on the basketball court where it was lit up."
Yeah.
I had a target. I had my quiver, my bow, my arrow, my arm. I had an arm guard because I was first shooting, so I don't use one now.
Right.
But I had everything, and I was like, "You know what? Let's do it." I literally sat out there till like 12:30 shooting my bow until I couldn't pull it back no more.
Yeah.
So from that point till beginning of right before teal season, this last duck season, I got a call from a good friend of mine, Travis Thompson. He called me, and I didn't know Travis. I got in touch with Travis. Travis got in touch with me because he had seen an article I did for US Today. It's called A New Frontier, African Americans in the Outdoors. It was basically about just a new just how it was. How difficult was it for African Americans to get into the outdoors in the Jim Crow era? You get what I'm saying? Versus now. So it was a pretty big article, really cool article I did. So I did that. A couple people seen it, and I'm pretty sure her name is Michelle. Michelle and another lady named Rachel. They both work for Florida Wildlife. They got in contact with me and told me, "Hey, Travis Thompson told us, about you. We're running a campaign called Waking Up with the World, and we wanted to see if you can be an ambassador for us. We want to try to get more minorities, more kids, more women into hunting, specifically hunting, and specifically more anglers into hunting." So I'm like, "Are you serious about this? Like, this is crazy. Or how'd y'all get me? You know what I'm saying? Out of all the people in the hunting world, how in the world, like, what is going on?" So she told me this. Then Travis called me. He was like, "Hey, man, like, you're the perfect candidate for this. Like, I think you should do it." We got to know each other a lot, talk to each other, and we just hit it off the first time we talked. So he was like, "If you don't have anywhere to shoot this at, I got the space. I got the cabin for you to stay at. You don't have to worry about nothing." I was like, "Man, this guy is like cool as hell." So Travis runs All Florida, nonprofit in Florida, and he also runs Cast and Blast. It's a podcast in Florida. He is huge. He is probably the number one person in Florida as far as conservation goes. He knows everything about conservation in Florida. Any bills being passed, anything being written up, any meetings with anything having to do with conservation for wildlife in Florida, Travis Thompson is your man. So ended up going down to a property in Okeechobee. A guy named Matt Pierce. He owns about 50,000 acres. He's a cattle farmer in Florida. He's one of the biggest cattle farmers in Florida, but had the opportunity to shoot that film on one of his properties. So it was really cool going down there. They just the whole campaign was basically getting more anglers to be hunters. In the state of Florida, out of 21 million people, there are only 14,000 duck stamps sold every year. That's it.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
So
it's a very low number.
Ridiculously low.
That's it. So it's 21 million people out of a million hunters, 14,000 duck stamps. That's crazy, right?
I mean, aren't there a couple of flyways coming down at least?
Only one.
There's only one.
That comes all the way down straight through Florida.
Well, when we talked to Drew Abel, who was on the podcast, Alabama, where we sit, is on the edge of two flyways. So you've got the flyway that ends, and then you've got the one that kind of goes all the way down through Florida. We're right on the edge. In fact, the river that's right here is kind of like the last stopping ground before they kind of get to Florida, essentially. So we're right on the edge of that flyway.
Gotcha. So that whole campaign, Waking Up with the World, was just basically trying to get more duck stamps sold, trying to get more people into duck hunting, period. You get what I'm saying? So my number one thing was like, if this is something positive, if it's to get more women, more minorities, more kids into hunting, I'm all about it. You know what I'm saying? So ended up doing it, and it was great. Like it was probably one of the coolest things that I think I've done thus far, as far as like a video shoot. It was like a whole video interview. Like it was the real deal.
That's really cool.
Those guys at 601 Studio, Studio 601 out of Gainesville, they do a lot of University of Florida basketball stuff. So this had been their very first outdoors film ever. They never filmed anything outdoors. So it was very, very foreign to them.
Right.
So like, some of the angles and some of the shots that they have, isn't typically what you would see from an outdoor photographer, but it was really cool to see it from their perspective.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
sure.
Yeah.
So like the drone footage that they had, some of the pictures that was like right in front of me and stuff like that, you wouldn't normally see if you're scrolling on Instagram. Some of these, you know, photographers that are mainly waterfowl photographers, you wouldn't see that on their page.
Right.
Because they're getting a hunter's perspective, because
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they hunt as well, just not as much as they you get what I'm saying, as much as they take photos. So for them, it was really cool to see their perspective.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because they never.
They don't turn the camera around.
They don't even hunt. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're not hunters.
Yep.
They're not outdoor photographers, videographers, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
So they're waiting for like the buzzer beater shot in the middle of a field or something.
that's what. So it was really cool. You know what I'm saying? It was really good experience. I'm very thankful to know Travis and to know everybody over at Florida Wildlife. You get what I'm saying? And to just be able to do that. And for people to see it, like I still have people hit me up like, "Hey man, I seen a commercial on YouTube, and I think I seen Odie just taking off running, and I thought it was you." And I was like, "Yeah, that's me, man. It's just a campaign. You know what I'm saying? It's running all over. I think it had over all the platforms. I think it's at like 500,000 views now.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty cool, man. You know.
That goes back to, I mean, this was the reason why I reached out to you, was because of the educational content that I had seen.
Right.
And this was one of them. It was, you know, I saw that you were trying to get people connected to the outdoors. And obviously from Florida, I completely relate with the story because I grew up fishing. I would skip school to go fish.
Yeah.
All day long.
All day long.
I made up a fake disease that I would tell my teachers. I did this in college too. I told them I had bursitis thumbness, and they were like, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, what it is it's a rash on your thumb. It's because when you hold fish, your thumb gets raw." And so that's what I told them I had. But I never hunted. I didn't hunt until I was 17 and I went hog hunting. But like you said, it's because I knew someone.
Right.
I knew someone who had land. They worked cattle and things like that. And that's when I went hunting for the first time.
Right.
But that's why I was so drawn to your content, because it was getting these people who never had the opportunity or just don't know how to get started in this opportunity.
Yeah.
Like you were the avenue that people were going through, which is cool.
I'm trying, and so you have to figure out a lane that you're going to be in.
Sure.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
It sucks to say that, but you just have to in order for people to gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
So I say, well, I can't be that guy that can say, "Oh yeah, you can do this," because I'm not that educated. I haven't been in it that long. You get what I'm saying? But I can be that middle ground for a new guy and the old guy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There is nobody that people don't like doing that because it's too opinion based. Well, I don't care about your opinion. This is what I went through from my opinion, from my point of view.
Yep.
This is what I experienced. Now I can tell you from my experience, but that's all.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you what I seen from this half, and then I can tell you what I seen from this half, and then I'll educate you from my experience. Other than that, we can talk to somebody else that might have 20 or 30 years or, even longer than that. You get what I'm saying? But it's really comes down to your circle and who you have around you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's so much more real too, because what you were saying is, one post would be how to do this, and the other post would be, these are all the mistakes that I made.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm going to do now.
Yeah, you can't be afraid. Because I just noticed whenever I started mine, Instagram, that's what I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to go about it because I didn't want to step on toes. You get what I'm saying? I didn't want to step on this guy's toes that's been guiding fishing for 25 years and didn't want to tell nobody to use a bottom sweeper with a fiddler. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, he's giving away the secrets. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, well, this young dude over here, he's literally hooking up and missing. Let me tell him what's going on.
Yeah.
And then if he messes up after that, now he's learned. You get what I'm saying? So just like with Odie, I learned so much with him because I messed up so much.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I would have never messed up, I wouldn't be in the position that I am in now. I'd probably still be out there in the field talking about, come on, Odie. Come on, Odie. What you doing, buddy? Blowing my whistle at him. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting there looking at me crazy like, Dad, what you want me to do now? You know what I'm saying? So it's all trial and error.
Right.
But I never even talked to them about about what they were saying about your Instagram page, just how you say the mess ups. And I was looking at it this week, and that is funny because that's what I gravitated towards. I read a post about you being in North Dakota, how like you didn't get done what you wanted him, like Odie, to do, but like he did his best, and just saying like it was one of the best runs that you've had just because of the learning experience and everything. And so but I remember it because it was one of those things where you talk about how like, oh, I did mess up, but and just telling people about what happened and everything.
A lot of people don't like to talk about their wrong.
But it's something like, it's just, it stuck out to me because not many people do talk about it, and it's refreshing to see.
And then if they do talk about it, they talk about it in private.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or with somebody else let me call this person, Nah. Call that person and tell everybody what you did. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I always like to. It seems really weird, but one of the questions, like if you're at a party or something like that, I always like to kind of say like, "Hey, how have you messed up before?" And like, how did you bounce back from that?
Right.
Because I learned so much more from people in that perspective than I do on social media, where everything's great and it's fine and I'm happy all the time. But you didn't see like the couple fighting 3 minutes before this post was taken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So once again, I just really want to commend you because, the going the more educational route and being honest and real, I think people are just gravitating towards that naturally.
Yeah.
And so I know for us, that's what stood out, stood out, I should say. That's what stood out from us. And it was super refreshing to hear that.
I appreciate it.
All right. So one of the unique things that you kind of hit on earlier is, out of 1 million people, only 14,000 buy a duck stamp. And one of the things that is not talked about, in fact, I didn't even know how popular this was, relative to scale until recently, is the duck hunting in Florida. Duck hunting in Florida is, from what I understand, so unique because there's so many different terrains and areas that you can do it in. So I want to kind of hear from you. What's a typical duck hunt in Florida like when you have to navigate snakes, alligators? I mean, who knows what else? Florida man, whatever it could be.
Right.
Because from our perspective, we get a lot of people who, just go out to a duck blind and they don't have to worry about anything like that.
Exactly.
What's it like when you got to worry about that 14-foot alligator over there?
Well, I mean, when I first started hunting, duck hunting specifically, it was, it can be hectic. Let's just start with that. It can be very hectic. It can be very nerve-wracking in Florida. Only reason I say it is just because of the wildlife, man. You got mosquitoes, you got snakes, you got rats, you got damn hogs. Did I miss?
You're good. Yeah.
You got hogs, you got rats, you got snakes. You got all reptiles. You got big snakes, small snakes, and big gators. So the gators is number one. Okay, so how do we deal with the gators? Me personally, I do not hunt anywhere where I see gators. If I can see a gator, I'm not hunting there. But in the same breath, I'll say this. If I get in my kayak, 4 a.m, kayak canoe, because 9 times out of 10, in Florida, if you don't have a mud boat, you're not really going to get too far.
Right.
Just because there's so much vegetation in the water.
Yeah.
If you got a canoe, a kayak, anything if you got a mud motor, long tail, short tail, surf, it don't matter. You get wherever you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the things that, like, the gators are the number one. I'll just say that. I'll just say that off top. Like, a lot of people think it's a game. It's not a game.
Right.
The closer you are to the center of Florida, the more gators they're going to be.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're on a freshwater lake, it's going to be gators there. They're usually more aggressive on freshwater as well because during duck season, they'll get smart. They'll hear you shooting those ducks. They'll see the duck laying there, pop up right in the middle of your spread, and grab that duck. So just like when you're out there fishing, they say, oh, you got to pay the tax man, right?
Yep.
Sharks come up, get your stuff.
Yeah.
Usually they'll go about their business.
Yep.
Alligators don't go about their business.
Nope.
They'll keep coming back.
They'll
You
sit
get what
and
I'm
wait,
saying? And
yeah.
they'll sit and wait. They'll sit right outside the decoys. They'll watch you drop a couple of them. They'll mosey on in, grab them one, and keep it moving. So it's I have a lot of friends that have invited me on hunts. And my first question is, and I'm pretty sure a couple of them going to be like, yeah, he's right. Where we hunting at? Okay. Is Odie invited?
Yeah.
Can I bring Odie?
Yeah.
AKA, are there gators?
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Exactly.
Yeah.
how are they
Yeah.
getting those ducks anyways?
They
Because you're not gonna send a dog.
9
in
times out of
there.
10, they just wait to the end of the hunt and go
and then go pick them up.
and just go
Yeah.
pick them all up.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I might pick
if-
up half of one.
right. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But I usually, like, my buddies will call me, hey, can Odie come? My answer is no.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like,
That's a good way to ask.
My
though.
answer is no.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong now. Like, this up and coming season, it will be some hunts out of state and in state that my boy won't hunt. This will be the first year I do that because I've hunted him everywhere I go.
Yeah.
He's in the truck right now. Everybody, he's in the truck. He's in the truck right now. But like, he goes with me everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
that's my boy. So, I mean, the gators, you have to just be careful. When I first go out, what I usually do is, if I'm in my canoe, I'm always shining. I'm always looking for head. I'm looking for eyes.
Yeah.
So, per se, I don't care about small gators under a foot. You know what I'm saying? I'll hunt right next to those. You'll see those all the time. You'll have one. You know, my buddies pick them up all the time. We'll be going to the blind, and they'll be in the blind, and they'll pick them up and go move them somewhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, the best rule of thumb is if you see gators under a foot, there's not going to be a big gator around. They're too aggressive. And when I say that, under a foot, because if they're under a foot, they're away from mama. If they're really small, you know, they're going to be around. Mama's going to be around.
Yeah.
Once they get too big, they got to leave the nest, right?
Uh-huh.
So if they leave the nest, mama don't want nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And that big aggressive male, he's not going to want them around either. So he's going to stay in his territory. Everybody is staying in their selective little places. But if you do just so happen to come up on an area where there are gators, me personally, I don't suggest you to hunt there because you're asking for something. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So me personally, if I'm somewhere, it's always shin to knee deep. I try not to let Odie swim in anything. If it's big water, that's fine with me. But in the marsh, absolutely not.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't let him go no more than 50 yards. If I'm in the marsh and it's a lot of mangroves around, say I'm in a patch of mangroves, I got 25, 30 yards of a little pocket and then more mangroves, I don't let him go past that mangrove patch because I can't see. You get what I'm saying? So I only let him go as far as I can see and as far as I know that I can recall him from anywhere, 100, 200, 300 yards. But a 12-foot gator 10 feet away, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That recall, that gator's going to be faster than my dog.
Right.
So I just try to be very, very cautious when I'm throwing my decoys. I throw a decoy, and I will literally walk around the whole edge of my decoy. So if I throw the decoys 30 yards out from where I'm standing, 40 yards out from 25 yards out from where I'm standing, I will walk to the last decoy and kind of do like a half moon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I kind of shuffle. You get what I'm saying? It's a little time taking, but I don't care. I'd rather be safe, make sure there's no gators around, make sure there's no hogs behind me, because like you were saying with the terrain, I can go from mud to shin deep water, knee deep water, to a grass flat that are nothing but mud patches, mud puddles. That's it. You get what I'm saying? So I go from a marsh to a grass flat, or I can go to a riverbank, or if anything, I'll be on an island in the middle of the lagoon, big water. So that's 5 different terrains I just said are hard. And, you know, on the lagoon, a lot of people don't know, well, big water, I should say, that's hard bottoms. So now I can go from I'm talking about sink down into a foot into the muck in the morning, and then in the evening go to the lagoon where it's a hard bottom. You know what I'm saying? And vegetation. So getting him ready for all of that, it's hard doing it during the summertime because it's so hot in Florida.
Yeah.
And you don't want to run your dog no more than 20, 30 minutes in Florida when it's hot outside. They can overheat really, really quick. A lot of people don't understand how fast a dog can overheat because their temperature is 100, 105, run about 100, 105. So you running them in this heat, they're going to it's going to overheat really, really fast.
Yeah.
So me personally, I try not to run Odie too long in the summertime, and I try to always run him by water, not stagnant water, moving water. So stagnant water is always going to be hot, and it's going to be hot up underneath.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that either. So they'll let the dog go run into this puddle, right? Go into this pond. It's not moving, or it might be a little movement. But that water, when your dog gets out of that water, his temperature is gonna shoot up.
Yeah, because it's just as hot as
It's
as
just
it is
as hot
outside.
as it outside.
Right.
So I try to keep him in the river, some big. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
If I am gonna work him, I only work him for 15, 20 minutes. I don't overdo it with Odie. Soon as I see his enthusiasm kind of go down, it's over with.
Yeah, you can make a read.
Oh
on
yeah,
how
it's
he
over.
is.
We going to the house. We hanging out because like the terrain can change in Florida. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys seen, but like how the hurricanes come. If we get bad hurricanes, everything's flooded.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can go from a 400 yard field that was, I'm talking about absolutely flat, nothing but grass. Rain come, half of that field is nothing but water now. You
Yep.
get what I'm saying? So
Oh, yeah.
now I got to get Odie's depth perception right. So I might stand, it might be water, field, water, and I'll stand at the last one, throw a bumper up, and let it land in the water. So now he's running through the water, through land, through water again. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
me training myself, I don't know it all. I'm not that educated. I don't have the most knowledge on it. I've only trained Odie the last 2 years off of my own knowledge as far as what I got off of YouTube and off of the Freddie King, the retriever trainer program. That's it. And my buddy Lakevian. So between those three and just getting information from people, that's all I would know. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I work with what I got, I work with what I can do, and I work with the knowledge that I do have. So, keeping him away from gators and making sure he stays away from stagnant water that could possibly give him an amoeba or, anything like that. A lot of people don't realize Florida's a dangerous place. Man.
I always tell people because my wife's from Alabama, and I tell her, I'm like, you hear people talk about Australia and like all these giant spiders
Yeah.
All
and
the most
snakes
poisonous
everywhere,
snakes.
most poisonous snakes, and I'm like, man, I grew up in Florida. Like I'm not scared. I'm not scared of much. You
You
know
know what I was thinking about the other day? And it's crazy, it's off topic, but I was watching something about some Australians, and they was catching these big old mud crabs, right? And they
Yeah.
were in
Yeah.
mangroves.
Yeah.
Yep.
So me personally, I know, mangroves only grow on the coast. And I was like, man, when the whole continent and everything, Pangea and all that was together, right?
Yeah.
Where was Australia at?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
was-
Like,
yeah.
was it in like tropical place like Florida, Africa?
Yeah.
Like, was it in like it had to be somewhere like
Had
that.
to be. Yeah.
Like, cause I don't see mangroves nowhere. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
Yeah.
what
100%.
Florida, South Carolina, you'll see them in Texas. You get what I'm saying? But I was like, Louisiana.
Louisiana for sure.
But when I seen this guy in those mangroves in Australia, that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, you got mangroves?
I said, "Yeah, well, I said, I got mangroves way over there."
Yeah.
it is funny.
Yeah, man.
So on the topic of Odie and things like that, before we move into our next segment, one of the things that we talk about, obviously, with being Sportsman's Pride is, the recovery of your dog and the nutrition and everything like that. With the different terrains and with the changing environment, you've got to worry about hurricanes, tornadoes, water spouts, X, Y, Z. The terrain changes. Your day-to-day changes. I mean, in Florida, I remember growing up, I literally see half of a street in a thunderstorm, the other half sunshine and rainbows.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, your dog, if you're working your dog in those type of conditions, like you were just talking about, the nutrition comes into it as well. And I use you as an example.
It's a huge factor.
I probably should have told you this before the podcast, but I use you as an example when we're talking to people about Sportsman's Pride, because when I first approached you, I said, hey, we'd like to work something out. I said, what do you feed currently? Won't mention them, but it was, one of the other foods. And then you also said, I give them this, and this on top of it.
Right.
And now, you feed our high protein field master, and you've cut a lot of those supplements.
All of them.
All of them.
Every last one of them.
I was gonna have you say it because I didn't want to put words in your mouth.
Nah. I cut every topper, every supplement. I cut every last one of them out. The only thing I still do is float his food,
Right.
just because I want to know that he gets enough hydration. You get what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yep.
So instead of him going out to my pool and drinking out of the pool like he normally
Yeah.
does, like all my damn all the dogs they just go out there. You got a big water bowl right here to the left, but you decide to go to the right.
That
to
one's
this
bigger.
Pool.
They're like, well, but look at how big that water bowl
Right?
is.
Yeah, right. So
They're like, you don't have to keep refilling
Yeah.
this one.
it's crazy. But that's about the only thing I do is I float his food. But I did. I mean, I was putting 1, 2, 3. I was putting 4 different additives, supplements, or toppers on top of his food. Once I started using Sportsman Pride, Colton told me, he was like, you don't have to do none of that.
Yep.
I was a little skeptic. I was like,
You gotta go back and read that bag.
I remember
He told
having.
me,
Yeah.
he was like, go back and look at the bag.
I remember
Yeah.
having the conversation
Yeah.
because I said, I was like, listen, I understand you're feeding all this stuff. And you're like, all right, well, I'm going to take one away and we'll see. And I was like, all right, man, just let me know how it works out. And then I talked to him like 2 weeks later. And I'm like, hey, man, how's he doing? Is he doing all right? Oh, yeah, I took one more thing out.
Yeah.
And it just dwindled down.
It dwindled down, man. I took everything out. And I mean, the first thing I seen improve on Odie was the bloat. The extra water weight that went away immediately, and it kind of like surprised me because I was so used to seeing him with this little extra around his belly. Then couple weeks go by, 3-4 weeks go by, food cycled through him, and now he looks fit, and I'm like, man, I really like this. I like the way you're looking, bud. Like, cool.
He's like, yeah, I like the way I'm looking.
Right.
Yeah.
He's walking by looking in the
Yeah.
mirror. He's like, I look good.
Second thing was his skin improved. His shedding went down. Now, I will say he still sheds. Instead of shedding the whole lab, he sheds a half a lab a day. now.
He used to recycle a lab each year.
I'm talking about, man, I could probably stitch about, I'm talking about, man, I don't.
Make some pillows.
I could probably make about 12 pillows with just his hair, but
Yeah.
Non-shedding
went down.
is not a guarantee of Sportsman's Pride.
it's not, yeah.
That is a condition of labs.
Yes. No
Yes.
guarantees.
Omega
but-
Skin and Pride Skin and Coat system is for Skin and Coat Shine.
Yeah.
That is exactly. But I mean, I noticed everything. Everything Colton told me that was gonna happen, it happened and it worked. But more so, what I liked was him explaining to me, okay, well, our food doesn't do this, so therefore he isn't gonna hold any weight. Okay, our food has this, so that's why he is gonna shine a little bit more. That's why his coat is gonna be a little bit better. That's what impressed me about it, because of the fact that it wasn't just, hey, here's Sportsman Pride, Field Master High Pro. It's just like what you was using. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
It was a
Got
lot
some
of
reason.
It was some. Hey man, how's this working? What are you seeing? Okay, well you don't have to use this. You can use this. You can use that. Okay, cool. He didn't push me into anything.
Yeah.
It was just like, listen, do this.
Yeah.
You can try this. Let me know in a couple weeks. Literally 14 days, I seen a difference.
That's great. We
Man,
guarantee
I'm-
30 days.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm glad
14.
this is recorded because that was a great pitch for me. You
Yeah.
hear how well I did?
Well, I saw the bill slide under the table.
Well, dang it. You weren't supposed to see that part. But no,
Yeah.
so that's one of the things that, in talking with Ryan and Sam, for Sportsman's Pride, we always tell people, try it.
Right.
If it doesn't work for your dog, fine. So be it. We've talked to some people where their dog had a sensitive stomach or something like that, and it didn't work out.
Right.
But if it works,
It works.
it works.
Yeah.
And with the high pro and everything like that, it's really meant for dogs like Odie who are working hard 60 days straight and are, needing that recovery quick because they are in tough conditions. Maybe it's like the terrain, or, with Florida, it's so doggone hot that, they need that extra protein to help them recover because they're burning it like no tomorrow.
Burning it. I mean, Odie work a lot. I work him a lot. For me not to have a boat, and for this to be my 4th year, I hunt a lot, especially duck hunting. And I mean, this year was actually my first year going on a solo hunt, just me and Odie. And it was the most liberating thing I've ever done. Like, people, like, next season, I don't mind if somebody didn't call me, hey, man, it doesn't bother me at all. I will go with Odie, hook my canoe up, get out there, and I can care less if I shoot one bird.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
It's quality time
I'm
out
out
there.
here with my buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, my first solo hunt with him this year, I hate to say this, man, my gun jammed every shot.
Oh
gosh.
But it wasn't a jam. My firing pin had mushroomed in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll do it.
It wasn't striking the primer all the way.
Right.
So, first light come up, me and Odie sitting there. I'm like, man, this sweet spot. I paddled in 2 miles. Okay. Dropped in. I paddled in. I took 3 dozen decoys with me, 2 spinners, and it was just me and Odie. So I'm out there, sitting out there, and I always take his training treats, always. So I give him a couple treats and stuff. I'm not one of those guys, no treats. So I'm always gonna give him treats.
Yeah.
So even if he don't pick up a bird, I'm gonna give him a treat.
Yeah.
So we sitting there. I had 2 model ducks come in. I'm talking about perfect, right over my mojo.
Yeah.
I pull up, click. I said, oh man. So I go to charge it back, click. I said, what in the world? So of course I pick up my shells, I reload, sit there and wait a minute. I had a pack of teal come in, probably 15, 20 of them. Click, click. I said, whoa. So now I'm frustrated. I'm really, really frustrated. And Odie is looking at me like,
are you gonna do something?
What is going on? Like, he was to the point where he was whining. He was like, bro, like, are you gonna shoot a bird or not? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it came down to it. I'm like, man, it's about 7:30. It's really foggy out.
Yeah.
I could probably see maybe 10 yards over my head.
Mm-hmm.
I had birds, I'm talking about, flying right over top of me.
Yeah.
And I see him at the last minute, and I'm like, oh, dang it, man, dang it. So I'm like, holy crap. All right, whatever. All right, let's regroup. Brandon, get your mind together, son. Get your mind together. So I was like, all right, next birds that come in, I got you, buddy. So Odie's looking at me, I'm looking at him. I had 2 gadwalls. I'm talking about, they came in literally backpedaling, just sitting there right above my they literally came right down out of the fog, right over top of my mojo. I didn't move. I said, oh my God. I pulled up. Guess what? Click. I said, you know what? It clicked. Those birds, they went away. They flared.
Yeah.
So guess what I did? I picked up all my decoys and I paddled my ass on up out of there. Like, I was like, I'm gone. I'm leaving. This was a great experience. It was fun. But you know what? I'm gone. That was me and Only's only skunk all year long.
It's funny. I think I've told this on the podcast before, but I have a buddy, Graham, who, when he goes hunting, if he misses a bird, his dog gets a piece of Spam. And so he'll bring a few cans of Spam with him when they go out hunting and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I've gone through a few cans of Spam before.
Yeah. It's
so
bad. It's bad, man.
All right. Well, there's a few things I want to touch on, but before we do that, let's take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
To master anything, it has to be a complete obsession. For Bill Gibson, it's an obsession with the outdoors and nature, with wildlife and their habitat. It's an obsession.
Hey, don't forget about the puppies.
Bill Gibson has a lifelong obsession. It began with training a young pup to retrieve its first duck, and then watching them grow up right in front of his eyes. No matter how it started, the obsession grew into training champion retrievers. Master gun dog trainer Bill Gibson trusts Sportsman's Pride professional dog food to fuel his award-winning retrievers, naturally building lean muscle tone, long-lasting stamina, and healthy, shiny coats, helping every dog in Bill's care live up to the legendary name that is Mossy Oak Kennels. Experience the Sportsman's Pride difference. Developed by experts, trusted by legends. New Sportsman's Pride Field Master Dog Food.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Field Master Podcast. So we're back with Brandon Thompson. And Brandon, one of the things that I can't believe we haven't talked about it much lately, because there's the educational side, there's Odie, but there's another part of you. I mean, there's this duck sitting on both of our heads right now.
Right.
That we got to talk about.
Right.
And that's 24/7 Hunt.
24/7 Hunt.
So when I approached Ryan and I said, Ryan, this guy's got to be an ambassador. And he said, okay, well, tell me about him. I started with your educational side. I started talking about Odie. And the last thing I actually talked about was 24/7 Hunt. And I'll admit it was ignorance on my part at first, because I said, oh, he's part of like this group that, they all get together and they hunt, and it's pretty cool. It's like a little, group. And then I started doing more research.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, they have like 70,000 followers. And then I started looking more, and I'm like, oh, Thomas Rhett is wearing their stuff. And then I'm like, recently, oh, yeah, and they were hanging out with Morgan Wallen the other night. And then I started looking even further, and it's infiltrated my own personal social media because we talk with some other people in social media and stuff. And one of the people that I follow personally, just because I enjoy her content, is, and I'm blanking on her name, and this is awful of me. Macy, I think is her name, but she was wearing a 24/7 Hunt shirt in her video the other day.
Right.
So tell us about the background of 24/7 Hunt, because it's not, there's so much into it, and it truly, I think we're seeing it take off in front of our eyes today.
Well, there's not a lot of duck hunting brands that have shoes. But when I saw the shoes,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
damn.
I'm not going to lie.
Look.
I thought about it while you were on the way here,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I wonder if he can pick me up. because what are they? They're oil spills, right? Is what they're called.
Well, we got the oil spills just dropped, but they dropped they were the last ones to drop, but
Right.
The newest ones are all gray and all cream.
Mm-hmm.
So those are on pre-order, and I'm pretty sure. So like most of the stuff that 24/7 Hunt puts out, it's all pre-order.
Yeah.
So you have to go online, you pre-order it. Once you pre-order it, you're good.
Yeah, you're
And
guaranteed
You're
a pair or something.
guaranteed, because 9 times out of 10, if you wait, it's gonna be sold out.
Yeah.
Hats sell out. I think the fastest hats sold out were less than a minute.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy how fast they sell out,
Because I know we today, when we were waiting for you to get here,
Yeah.
Sam and another guy that works with us, Justin, all looked because we were talking about the oil spills.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if there's a pair. I wonder if I can just
Yeah.
snag a pair real quick. And they're all gone.
Sold
Unless
out.
you have like a size 4 foot,
Yeah.
they're all gone.
Sold out, man. But
Yeah.
backstory, 24/7 Hunt. It actually goes back to my first year of hunting. Well, second year of hunting, duck hunting. I was like, man, this is the most exhilarating thing I've ever done. But I've never seen any black people doing this. Just being totally transparent with you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
No, for sure.
So I went on YouTube and I put in these words verbatim: black people duck hunting. Okay? So it was 2 groups that popped up. I'm not going to say the other group's name.
Yeah.
One group popped up, 24/7 Hunt popped up. So I
Yep.
was like, dang, I like both of these crews. They're cool. But 24/7 Hunt was just so edgy.
Yeah.
I was like, man, these guys got rap music behind their videos.
Man, I wasn't going to bring it up.
They're
But
doing, you know what I'm
Good.
saying? I was like,
Yeah.
this is just so different, but it makes me feel so at home.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Sure.
I love country music. I love rock music. I like alternative music. I like all of that. Don't get me wrong. But to see something that I grew up on,
Yeah.
behind the video into something that I like and I'm wanting to get into, this had me pumped.
Oh, yeah.
So I started following him. I was like, man, let me go watch YouTube. So I watched it was season 1.
Yep.
So they was in Arkansas most of the time. Watched all those videos. I went directly to Instagram, started following Renard, Daryl, Ricky. I started following 24/7 Hunt, started following Jason, and just started watching, right?
Yeah.
So Renard had put out an invite for the dove hunt. And I was like, man, I want to go to this dove hunt. So I asked my girlfriend, I was like, you think I should go to this dove hunt? She was like, yeah, you should go.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple weeks out, I had made a post because I was just like, man, these guys are everything. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they don't even know, they don't know the impact that they are making on the outside world. You get what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
really
Sure.
just
Yeah.
don't know. So
Yeah.
I made a post and it was about, I don't know what I did, but I specifically said, support your friends even if you don't know them.
Yep.
And I posted it. So it was 24/7 Hunt. So a couple days before that dove hunt, I'm talking about days before, I was nervous because I was going by myself.
Yep.
I was driving 5.5 hours. I had bought all brand new Yeti stuff. I had bought brand new Stoger 3500 because I heard Ricky talking about it on the podcast. I bought a brand new 12 gauge. Everything was new. This is my first time dove hunting.
Right.
First time ever. My main reason for going was to find people that had the same like mind as me. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? Because my friends in Florida, I didn't have many friends that did a lot of hunting, especially bird hunting. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It was just me. My buddy Howard that got me into hunting, he never did it. He has 2 twin boys that are like my little brothers. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They had never duck hunted before, but they was too young at the time to duck hunt with me. So I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna go. I don't know. I'm nervous. I don't know, man. I was like, you know what? I ain't going. My girlfriend said, no, you're going. You're getting out of here.
You're like,
of
there's a
reason.
pile of 3 Yeti coolers back here with a brand new
Get what
gun
I'm
on
saying?
top. You better go. Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going. So previously, I had got those guys a keychain made, and it said 24/7 Hunt with their name on the back. So I got each one of them a keychain. So when we got up there, me and Ricky had already been talking online because I had bought a John boat and I redid the whole boat. I wanted it to be my duck boat, but I took it out during the summer a couple times, and I didn't like the way I didn't like how it rolled. It just wasn't stable enough for me. I was like, man, if I'm gonna have kids on the boat with me and I'm gonna be doing all this, I'm gonna need something a little bit bigger, a little bit more stable, whatever. So I ended up selling it, and Ricky was talking to me the whole time, like, he was trying to see what type of boat I wanted, basically trying to get me to get a gator tail.
Yeah.
So talked to him, but when I got up there, Ricky walked up to me and talking to him, I was like, hey man, check this out. I got y'all boys something made. I just want to show my appreciation to you guys. It's a good feeling knowing that it's some young guys that look like me. I can come up here and I can hunt with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I told him, I was like, I was the guy that said that post, like, support your friends whenever. He was like, dang, that was you? Holy moly. I didn't even realize that was you. So I gave it to him. He was like, no, I'm gonna give this to everybody, at the end of the dove hunt. So I was like, all right, whatever. So needless to say, I hunted that whole day. I think I shot 80 shells and I shot 1 bird.
Sounds like my first time dove hunting.
So
That sounds like when you
Yeah,
texted me
I
the
ran-
pictures
I
from
ran-
your dove hunting.
Yeah, I ran through so many shells and hit 1 bird, but I had the most fun ever.
Yeah.
At the end of the hunt, Ricky ended up getting everybody in a circle and giving the keychains out to all the guys and stuff like that. Renard walked up to me. He was like, hey man, like, a lot of people, like, people don't do that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
people don't think about other people while we're trying to do something for y'all. You thinking about us.
Yeah.
So ended up getting his phone number. Ended up hunting the next day with them. It was a 2-day hunt. So if you could stay the second day, it was a fresh field. I ended up staying a third day.
Yeah.
Because he was like, hey, man, what's up, bro? Like, you know, you want to stay?
Yeah.
I was like, well, if y'all gonna let me stay, you know, what's up?
Yeah.
So it happened to only be me. I was the only person, you know what I'm saying, hanging
Yeah.
out with them. So on my way home, Ricky called me and was like, hey, man, we ain't never did this before, but we want to invite you to the Timber. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, man, like, you cool. We all like you. You know what I'm saying? You're a really good guy. So we want to bring you out to Arkansas, shoot a greenhead. My mouth hit the floor.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was like, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious? He was like, yeah, man. You know, it's a couple stipulations, but if you can, you know, if you can get out here, get your ticket, you ain't got to worry about a place to stay. It's a couple things that you got to get, you know what I'm saying? Because we do a lot of filming and we want you to be on film. So he was like, but you don't have to get that stuff, but, you know, we want you to. So I did, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I probably spent about $2,500, $3,000.
Yeah.
And it was the most magical time I ever had. It
Yeah.
was my first time in the Timber. I got to hunt with all the boys with 24/7 hunt, and we're like family now. You know what I'm saying? So like
that's so
ever
cool.
since for about 2 years, going on 3. Hold on, whoa, 1, 2, 3 years.
It's
Yeah,
2023, if that helps.
3 years now, man.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Because my first year, I only hunted. Let me see. First year, hunted Arkansas. I ended up going back. Man, I think I went to Arkansas and Oklahoma a couple different times.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of this. Then last year, so I've been hunting with the gang 3 years now.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm very thankful for it. Just knowing those guys and having those guys, you know, in my corner and being able to pick up the phone and talk to them and stuff, you know. Like I tell Renard all the time, you know, if I would have never, I won't say it like if I would have never met 24/7 Hunt or those guys, but at the same time, if I had never met 24/7 Hunt, I wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Between my hard work myself and, you know, knowing Renard, meeting Renard and being a part of the crew and traveling the country and, you know, getting good exposure and stuff like that is the biggest blessing that could ever be bestowed upon me. You know what I'm saying? So it's great, and I'm truly thankful for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
I mean, that also speaks to the authenticity and the character of the people at 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To bring someone on not based on, well, how many followers do you have, or how much influence do you have,
Yeah.
or you know what have you done? What have you accomplished here, here, and here?
Right.
But it's more you came here, you showed us amazing character, and then you clicked.
Right.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's great, man. And like I said, we're like brothers, you know. Renard's from Georgia, Aubrey's from Georgia, I'm from Florida, Daryl's from Arkansas, Ricky's from Louisiana. So, you know, you got 5 different states, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it come down to hunting season, I mean, we talk all the time. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once hunting season hit, it's like we're back together. You
It's
know
game
what I'm
over.
saying? It's almost like we all staying right there with each other. You get what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
the furthest away, so like I said earlier, you know, it's a little bit harder for me to travel or to go certain places or to do certain things because I do have an extra 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's all worth it. Every drive is worth it. Every shot that I don't take is worth it. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
100%.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, one of
Love
the
it.
things that, you know, Ryan kind of just touched on it, but the authenticity of, you know, you as well as 24/7 Hunt, because, you know, like I said when we just started talking about this was, you know, I'm seeing it in not only just because I know you and
Right.
because I know 24/7, but I'm starting to see it become kind of influential within the community.
right.
And it's really cool because obviously, like, I'm in social media marketing, so I love to see kind of like the behind the scenes of things. But when you start to see it become part of, we'll call it the mainstream culture, let's talk about, you know, hunting mainstream culture on social media and stuff, it's really cool to see people who are so authentic and really have a passion for what they do. Because I went back, I watched all the videos, I watched all the episodes and things like that. And I mean, I think my favorite video of all time, I think it's Renard, but they have a George Foreman or something set up on the hood of a truck, and they're just singing and cooking eggs. And it's so funny to see that and know you guys and to know about you and how authentic you are. To see the success of when I was at NWTF, I saw the hats and I saw the shirts and I think I had just missed Renard, because I think he left Friday or something like that. I was there Saturday morning. And so it's so cool. And I commend you guys and I actually didn't know that backstory. So it's so cool to see the authenticity that you guys have runs all the way through. And so it's really cool to, see.
That's one thing we always tell each other, and it's all authentic. It's nothing fake. Everything that you see on the videos, Instagram, everything's authentic, man. It's truly like that. When you see us laughing and clowning and playing rock, paper, scissors, and all that stuff is very real. The bets are very real.
It's like the money that's been lost. It's very real.
It's very real. It's not a game. I'm talking about when Rick pull out that Foreman and it goes down, it goes down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good time. I love hanging out with the gang. I mean, it's nothing better than it. A lot of people seen me complaining this year. Dang, I can't go here. I can't go there. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, man, well, what? Listen, man, I love being with the guys.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That's just something when I started hunting with the guys, that's just something that's just been a part of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I'm home hunting, I got a couple guys that I hunt with, and man, we kick it. You get what I'm saying? And I'm the one with the grill. I'm the one with the turtle box. I'm the one with everything. You get what I'm saying? And I don't mind that. That's cool. You get what I'm saying? Because it's almost like I'm the extension of 24/7 Hunt in Florida.
100%.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when I'm not with them, I still do the same exact stuff.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I don't care if I won't say states, but I don't care if we're way out west.
Yeah.
Or we're Midwest, or if we're in North Dakota.
Yep.
It is always going to be the same thing. We're going to laugh. We're going to clown. We're going to argue a little bit. You get what I'm saying? But for the most part, we're going to kill ducks and we're going to have fun. And it's going to be authentic. It's going to be a great fellowship. So I took that from, especially the fellowship part. You know, I had never understood, what real fellowship was until I started hunting with 24/7, until, I seen everything come together, especially at dove hunts. And then after dove hunts, see, a lot of people don't know, we get together at the Moody's house, at their house, and we'll have food and drinks and hang out. And that's the part that a lot of people don't see. You know what I'm saying? That's when we're mingling. That's when we hugging on each other and talking and, just doing the whole nine, the fellowship. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? And when you lose that part of it, you need to just step away from it. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
It's two things. When you lose the chase and when you lose the fellowship, you got to step away from it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But that's my biggest thing. I don't care who I'm with. It can be with 24/7 Hunt. It can be with some guys I just met, or it can be with my crew in Florida that I hunt with. It's all about the fellowship. You know what I'm saying? Yes, killing ducks is cool. Yes, we all want a big strap. Yes, if we don't want a big strap, like in Florida, we don't look for straps. If you kill 2 ducks and 3 ducks in Florida, you had a good day.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it doesn't matter for me. It's just getting out, enjoying, and I hate to be cliche, but watching the world wake up.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh,
Waking up with the world. You get
For
what I'm
sure.
saying? It's a beautiful thing. So ever since my first time back in 2017 sitting in my tree stand shaking because I'm really scared. Not cold. I'm really scared because I'm like, what in the world am I doing in this tree stand? Man, I don't know what walked up behind me. You get what I'm saying? Till now, walking in gator-infested ditches and swamps and telling, man, are y'all going to come? Are y'all scared? What are y'all going to do? You get what I'm saying? From that point to now, man, the journey has been great. and I just look forward to what's to come. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Well, let's figure out. I mean, you've got tons of stuff going for you. Like I said, you've got the studio, you got 24/7 hunt, but I mean, what are you looking forward to in the next 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5 years. So I would say 3 to 5 years. The main thing I want to do is hunt a full 60 days. I'm talking about it
Every day.
a full 60-day season.
Yeah.
That's 1 3 to 5. Well, I say 1 to 3 year goal is to be able to financially get through a 60-day season and still have my shop flow.
Right.
Right? Have another dog, train another dog before OD. So OD will be 3 this year. So by the time he turns 4 and he's good and going, I want to have another dog to start training up with him. So they can watch each other and they can grow with each other.
That's good.
Yeah.
Besides that, man, be more informational to everybody. Spread more knowledge, more positivity. Gotta stop saying but
And stop saying
that's
no.
pretty much it's,
Stop saying
as long as I can be a positive influence
Yeah.
to the next generation and they can see something in me that they don't see in anybody else that would make them change for a good, that's all I want.
That's it, man.
You're killing
That's
it.
awesome.
That's all I want.
You're on your way there.
I really
Yeah.
can't ask for too much more. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, to ask for much more would be pretty greedy of me. So just as long as the next generation, even if it's not me, even if it's somebody, an extension of me, they see me and then, they might see me and then see Renard and be like, man, I like Renard more. That's fine.
Yeah.
You found somebody that you like, that you can, follow. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A role model.
Yeah.
So as long as I can be a positive role model to the next generation or someone out there, it don't even have to be the next generation. It can be anybody. As long as I can be a positive influence in the outdoor world and outside of the outdoor world, that's all I can ask for.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Well, and everyone's, the whole world will benefit
Yeah.
from something like this.
Yeah.
Whether it's more people out in the brush hunting, shooting ducks,
Yeah.
or talking with each other, fellowshipping with their brothers. If you get more dogs catching, going to retrieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all around.
Yeah. Yeah. And, personally, I just want to say thank you for, what you're doing for not only Sportsman's Pride. I mean, that is a part of it that we're so grateful for, but what you're doing to get people out into the field, get people learning. And the informational side for me is so important. And it's so, I think that will go so much farther than, like we said, just showing a flatbed full of ducks or something like that. That is what speaks volume.
Right.
So
You're not going to see a flatbed full of duck post in a while, for a few weeks now.
You might see some fish from me.
I know. I might see some sheephead, and then I'm gonna call them and be like, "Hey, I'm on my way."
Hey.
You might see
I'm
some
coming.
sheephead.
There you go.
Definitely might see some sheephead, man.
There you go.
For sure.
All right. Well, Brandon, I want to say thank you so much for driving up here.
sir.
I know it's been a long day for you.
It's
so
all right. I'm used to long
we're
days.
and you know what? This is a little bonus content
Yeah.
for people. It's gonna be a little bit longer because when I told Brandon, "Hey, I want you to come up," I also said, "Hey, I want you to give me a haircut." And so we're going to be filming. Brandon's going to give me a haircut. We'll post this after the episode and stuff. But be sure to check that out. If you guys are in or around New Smyrna, please go to the studio, go get a cut, and also follow him on Instagram at Eazy Livin 11. I think I got that right.
Eazy Livin 11. That's my outdoors page. My barbering page is Eazy Livin Studios. So
Just type in Eazy
Yeah.
Livin. You'll
If-
find either
Yeah.
11 or Studios,
Yep.
and you're good.
Either one, you are fine because you'll find each page on, one is on the other.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Well, Brandon, thank you again for coming up and,
sir.
hanging out with us.
Yes, sir.
And thank you guys for listening to the Fieldmaster podcast. If you guys are listening to this on Apple or Spotify, you can also watch this on YouTube. You can see our wonderful faces, including Brandon's. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, you can also check it out on Apple or Spotify. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. That haircut video will go to @sportsmans_pride. So you guys can let us know how Brandon did.
It's about to go down.
It's about to happen.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.